So good morning, good evening, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us today. Let me start with the introduction of Bahujan Scholars, what we do, who we are, nonprofit registered in the US. Bahujan Scholars is a network of, so Bahujan Scholars is a nonprofit graduate students, faculty, and professionals outside India. The network's purpose is to support scholars from Bahujan communities, build network, provide mentoring, that is group and one-on-one mentoring, and organize online events on academic and professional development topics such as today. All our webinars are also posted on the Bahujan Scholars YouTube channel that you can avail at any time of your convenience. For more information, you can also visit our website that I'll just put in the chat. Today we have Dr. Deep Chand joining us for a very invigorating session. So I'll also introduce him to you all. Dr. Deep Chand is a Walter Benjamin Postdoctoral Fellow at the Center for Criminology, Faculty of Law, University of Oxford. He recently completed the postdoctoral Global Encounters Fellowship at the College of Fellows and the Institute of Sociology at the University of Tübingen, Germany. Chand received his doctoral degree in sociology from Goethe University, Frankfurt, Germany. He holds both a Master's of Arts and a Master's of Philosophy in Social Sciences from the Tata Institute of Social Sciences, Mumbai. He earned his Bachelor of Science in Chemistry and Mathematics from Dr. Ram Manohar Logia, Awadh University, Ayodhya, India. His research interests include political sociology, criminology, sociology of policing, state law, urban citizenship and belonging, caste and higher education, ethnomethodology, and ethnography. I'll hand over the stage to you, Dr. Deep.
Thank you very much, Priyanshi, for your kind introduction, and thanks, Bharat, for the invitation. And thanks everyone who have joined from across different time zones. So for today's topic, like how to publish a research article, so I have like four guiding question, I would say. So the first would be like to explain the journal selection criteria, and then second question about describe the test clearance and initial submission standards, and then third question would be the detailed strategy for addressing the reviewers' feedback, and then last would be the identify conference and forum for the pre-submission and feedback. So what I'm going to do, I'm not going to talk about and give the generic understanding about how one could go for to these questions for publishing the article. Rather, I would like to pick up one of my articles, which is published back in 2014 with Higher Education Springer. So I would like to discuss with that article and considering these four questions into the center. So let me share that article. Wow, perfect. Right? Can you see? Yes. So what I'm going to, about this article, I'm going to share my experience right from beginning, how I engaged and how I approached the editors and what kind of things and the experience I have gone through. So I would say for the first, the criteria for the selection criteria for this journal was rejection. So because I sent this article back in 2022, now somewhere in the October, to the one of the top leading journals, interdisciplinary journals, which focuses on the South Asian geographically research focus as, and from that journals actually I got the first feedback from the editor itself, which was really good for me. He's gone through the article. He liked some of the argument, and he was saying, but you are again making almost the same kind of arguments. There is no so innovative idea into that one, but he was saying still it has some the potential and to have the potential for publishable. So, and then I thought, okay, so then he gave me some of the good comments and I work upon it. And then when I work upon it and I sent that article back to him, And then he was saying, let me also check the scopus of journals, aim and objective of the journals. And he was saying, because of this aim and objective of the journals, probably your article would not totally fit into in our scope of the journal. I said, okay. And then he was saying, I mean, he was still interested, and he was saying, okay, let me also have a consultation with one of the top scholar from your field. And then he sent that article to the expert whom like he considered as expert, and he sent to that article to him. And then, do you know what kind of a suggestion I got from? I mean, before sending the articles for the reviewer, he just wanted to some sort of a consultation from the expert in the field, and he was telling. And kind of the response I got from the review expert through the editor, he was telling this article is too much talking about Dalit. And he was saying it's too much talking about Dalit. It is not going to fit into our scope. But still, he was saying, so it is a good piece. It is not a bad rejected piece. Knowing the fact that we rejected 90% of the article. That was his comment, the kind of comment I got from the editor. And then editor also gave me the suggestion, which he got from the expert, like I should send this article to something called Journal of Social Inclusion Studies. That was what a response to me. So then I said, I mean, it was okay and it was totally fine for me. But the thing was that when moment I read and he was saying it is too much talking about Dalit, then I was saying, but you did. I'm also talking about higher education, not only about Dalit, but Dalit could be the one aspect to understand the higher education system, how it works in India or maybe in the larger. So then the very same day I Googled lead top journal in the higher education. So these are some of the pop-up and I repeat.
Hello, Deep. Sorry, your voice is breaking up. Deep. Sorry, we cannot hear. There is some issue with the audio. No, still we cannot hear you.
Now?
Yeah, that's fine. Please go ahead.
So sorry.
No, that's fine. It happens. Please go ahead.
Yeah, let me try. So then what I'm going to do, I'm not going to rely on my AirPod, I think.
Yeah, that would be fine. Yeah.
Perfect. Yeah. So I don't know but then I decided I should consider this higher education journal, because knowing the fact that it has the highest impact factor, and I have also the scope for publishing, let's say in country. I mean, there has a scope like whether I can contribute theoretically or empirically or kind of a some methodological contribution I can do. So then I choose in that, and then I also skim through the editorial board. The reason was that I was just wanted to know who are the editorial board, and who has already published in the particular journal. The reason, one, if I get to know what has been already published in particular journals, what I can do basically, I can also sift, I can also find the gap. What are the important thing I can bring into in particular journal, so that would be also innovative and would be not rejectable piece for them. That was my the idea of choosing the particular this journal. So and of course, like as I told you, that I also look at the impact factors and then editorial board, aim and scope, and then like more than that, because it is one of the top leading journal in the field. So and that's why I wanted to actually consider that in the journals. That was my. I'm not going to give like the basic generic understanding about what other years, for example, many other region could be can be, for the selecting a particular journal, but mine was very experiential based. That's why I just choose that journal, and which I have already
Deep,
explained.
Deep, sorry. I mean, we cannot see your paper, like screen share.
Now,
No,
no,
no.
probably this time it should work.
Yes, that's fine.
No?
Go ahead.
Yeah.
Sorry.
So, like you could see, I don't know, I can also explain into detail, like this was the title, and then what I follow, basically, I'll go by one, like, right? Then I will explain in detail if it is needed, like, and then about what was my strategy for the desk clearance and then initial submission standard. I would say definitely I follow the all the journals scope guidelines and read them thoroughly, and then on top of that, what I do only, maybe people can also do and probably would be doing. So I also I usually download the article from particular journals. So like for example, from my own from this journal, from higher education, I download two articles. One, the person who has published from the India, and one from the abroad somewhere. I think it was from the China or somewhere else. So I downloaded two article, and just to get myself familiar about like what kind of structure and argument they are actually following, and then I should also follow the same structure. Probably that would be also good. And if there is an article, like, which is quite related to my subject, definitely there would be many, because they are also focusing on the higher education, so I can also cite them. So probably that could also give some sort of a understanding to the editor or maybe the reviewer. Yeah, I'm also quite aware about their updated the writing or the publication and so on and so forth. So that was also my strategy and then I started, after collecting these information, I started shaping and framing my article, and in following those the guidelines. And then I wrote the article, and then what I do generally, so I once I complete my article, I would read at least 5 to 7 times just to get convinced myself, oh, right, I'm in the right direction. I really have some sort of a good the argument about this, and it is going to be publishable, something like that. And once I get to convince myself after reading the article, and then I also ask my partner, who comes from the very different background, different discipline, to read her, just to know like what other people from the other discipline actually think about this article and particular argument. Probably that would be more interesting, like being like coming from the different background, probably would give some sort of a good understanding, good comments, or good like feedback. Where should I improve? Because it is going to be, I mean, it is going to be for a larger audience. Probably that would also help me. And then I also ask one of my friends who broadly works around these like caste and caste related issues, to read her and to give me feedback, and that was also quite helpful for me. Like, so I got a lot of comments, like especially for the literature reviews and some of the methodological question, the concerns, why I have chosen particular this method, and so on and so forth. So, and then I actually incorporated all the comment. This is the comment from my peer group, I would say, the a comment which I got. I just incorporated them, and then I sent to the journal. This is always I follow.
this kind of strategy before sending, like making my final submission to the journals. I would do like this, and which I also followed into this. And then third question, the how like I address the reviewers' feedback. So before coming into this, I would like to give you like the brief the idea, and then overview what kind of comment actually I got from the reviewer. So there were like two reviewer. So one, the comment from the first reviewer was quite brief and very generic, I would say. So like, for example, if you just see the title, no, the reproduction of caste in the classroom, a Dalit perspective. So, and the original title was the reproduction of caste in the classroom, a perspective from below. So then the first reviewer had a, like kind of the concern. He was telling, no, I think you are going to downplay this, the whole, the philosophy of this, the perspective from below. Probably I should follow the Dalit perspective instead of saying like the perspective from below, which has like, I mean, it's broader the perspective. So and which is not like resonate with my the kind of testimonies I brought into my paper. So that was his words comment. I mean, that was a fair. Good comment, I would say. And then according to like following his comment, I just modify my title. And then second comment was about him was like, if I'm looking at the class as the reproduction of caste in the classroom, I should also conceptualize what I mean by classroom, and so on and so forth. Like largely, he wanted me to engage with the conceptual understanding about classroom itself before going into the caste question, and how it has like played a role into the reproduction of the caste. So I mean, it was also the good comment. But the comment from the second reviewer was quite elaborative and quite good, I would say. And I mean, it was really good. I learned a lot from this, from especially from the second reviewer, I would say. He gave me like the not a different perspective, but different idea and how I should structure the paper in the first place. So he provided me the structure. So what could be the potential the structure for this paper if I wanted to publish in this journal. For example, in the introduction, so he gave very interesting the comment, and he was saying, if you were talking uh, about the caste and everything, I should give the brief history about the caste and how it has, what kind of implication it has in higher education in India. And then I should also give more context, because the paper is the contextually placed in the Uttar Pradesh, which is in the northern state of the India. So he was saying I should also give more context about how the caste inequalities has implication in Uttar Pradesh. That was really interesting, and he was saying that would give you can set your paper very well, something like that. So that was the first comment in the introduction. So I would go one by one, and then the larger comment was about methodology, which was quite interesting. And then after reading his comment, I actually changed my methodology, especially the sampling strategy. So initially I was saying I'm going to use the random sampling, and then after reading his comment, and then I again skimmed through my papers, and then I realized, no, I'm not going to use the random sampling to recruit my participants. Rather, I should go for the snowball sampling, which is quite convincing and quite applicable in a given research context. And so then I choose and that one. And then the third comment was about what consideration were given to the gender in selecting the interview. That was also the concern. So of course, all those concerns I address. And then the last comment was, how was the qualitative data was analyzed, like kind of like the method he was asking me to give more elaborative the rationale and why, what kind of method. So definitely then I choose the thematic method to make an analysis of these interview. And then And then good comment was also on the literature review. I mean, it was quite amazing, and he asked me to uh, to uh, to to organize the review literature review into two part, because he was saying it looks very generic, like everybody knows, and it is also a bit difficult to grasp what actually you want to say, and there is no distinction between like when it comes to the whether the discrimination experienced by the faculty or the students. So he was telling me I should like devise and organize the article in two part, the literature into two part. One like the discrimination experienced by the Dalit student, and one is like experience by the faculty, Dalit academic. So I mean, which was also quite good to organize the literature review, and that also helped me to basically to make a like analytical interpretation of my data. So if you go the way I have actually I have thematized. So here, so that's here actually I just um, divide my literature review into the two part, the discrimination experienced by the Dalit student. So where I brought a lot of literatures and around the student, the kind of the experience the Dalit student are facing in the higher education, and then of course the faculty, and then I gave the third part actually. Um, I put this third section in the literature review to give more context about the study, because it was placed. I mean, it is placed in the Uttar Pradesh. So I wanted to bring some more like empirical and studies which has been done, which has been dealt around this the caste discrimination in higher education. So, and then the methodology part, which I have already explained, what are the uh, major comment I got. So, the recruitment process. So, which then I changed, I'm going to use like snowball sampling to recruit my interview, and also I did, and then thematic categorization analysis was also the part, and then semi-structure. I use the semi-structure interview because it also gives you some sort of a flexibility, because at that point at time students were also busy in exam, so most of them actually didn't have a time. So I thought let me let me employ the semi-structure interview, and it give me the flexibility to explore this critical issue, especially within the time constrained time frame also. So that was also the reason to recruit. I mean, the semi-structure interview, and then around this finding, I didn't actually got much comment. I mean, the comment I got for the finding section was I should give more information about the participant, and what kind of uh, analytics understanding I'm bringing, considering those 15, because I interviewed the 15 the students, the 15 testimonies, what kind of the analytical understanding I'm bringing through their experiences, that should be clearly reflected into the finding section. So that was a broader comment I actually got it. And then to address the comment, which is really important part for the discussion, what kind of strategy basically I use. So I would definitely going to explain. So when I got this comment, I mean, especially the comment from the second reviewer, which was huge and quite a relevant comment for this article. So I read them carefully. What I do, I generally read twice any comment, and then organize all the comments, like let's say comment from the introduction, what kind of comment I got in the methodology, and the literature review. I would just organize them, and then because in my case most of them comment were from the methodology and the literature review, and then also the comment from the data presentation. So I just categorize them and organize them, the comment, and then also prepare the seats actually, how I'm going to respond. So I was thinking either I can respond or I can't. I mean, like either I'm like agreeing with their comments, or maybe disagreement. I have disagreement, or maybe I can skip. Like, so that was kind of options I had. Then I was thinking I should be very careful about answering their email, though I'm not actually. If I have a disagreement with their comments, so I should also explain very politely and what are the reason actually. So I answered every comments very politely, and then with rationale, what are the reason why I'm not going to, because I'm always not be a very defensive mood also in some in like in if I get some sort of a comment where I think no, I'm not going to follow this comment, and I'm going to not like respond this comment, then I would actually find some sort of explanation rather. But I would go politely and then if I'm agreeing, then definitely I would agree, and then I would explain uh, in very detail, and then I would also highlight those parts, the part which I had always like highlight it, so that the reviewer could also get it, uh, like which part like where I have added something, so that would be also easy for him, he would not get annoyed, something like that. So that was also the one of the strategy for for me. And then definitely, and yeah, and another important part was that, because so I think both reviewer also suggested me a good reading, so I would always take them seriously. So I just read them and just try to incorporate the argument where it is like going to be fit into in the article. So I would go through, and then I would find the way where I can put this argument and so on. So I would do it, and then I would try to incorporate most of the comment. Try to uh, to uh, to incorporate, and also while preparing this the letter, response letter, right, which is different. So I would always like not try to contradict it, right? I would, before sending to the my response letter to the editor, so that the reviewer could read it actually, so I would also make sure read twice, so that it what are the how I have also given the response in the revised article should not have some sort of a contradiction to the response, my response letter, which I'm going to send to the editor. So that was also the one of the important strategy for me. I think I'm sure everybody actually does this kind of things. And then another important point I wanted to mention is that because of given to the standard of these journals, it went twice for the review actually. So generally, I was thinking it is going to be the only one time review, but then it went twice, which was unexpected for me. And when when I got the first time review, and then I revised and work upon it, and then sent back and then the revised article again went to the same reviewer actually, which I could make a sense definitely. And then I got a lot of appreciation after revision. So for the second time review was quite less. I mean, quite very few few comments were there, like here and there. Like for example, so one comment was because given the standard of this article, a lot of international scholars are also going to read. I should also explain like what do I mean by merit, what do I mean by Dalit, something like that. I mean, such kind of comment I received after revision of my article, and then when I work upon the second time of on the article and then send it back, then I actually got a confirmation from the editor the article has been accepted. But before that, I thought, no, I mean, it is already been accepted. So maybe after the first review, but that was my, I mean, I didn't have that kind of understanding because I already published one article where I had quite a different experience altogether, which was, I mean, for that article, I never got I didn't get actually the review in the first place. So I was quite confused what is going to happen, whether it is accepted or not. And then I went around and talked to the colleague. I haven't got any review from my article. So do you think it is going to be published? And everybody was like kind of shocked and started looking at me. No, it is not going to. It is not a usual process. So you should get some sort of a comment. How can be like this? So, but then I talked to the one editor of the one journal, and she happened to be a professor, and she told me, no, sometimes it happens. So that kind of experience I had before publishing this article. So which was quite different, no, from my previous publishing experience. But yeah, so this was the kind of experience. And then the last part, yeah, and then the Identify conference and forum for pre-submission feedback. So to be very honest, I just presented this article in the two forum. One was in ISA, International Sociological Association, back in July. I think it was took place in Melbourne in 2023. And then second platform was BASAS, British Association for South Asian Studies conference, which took place back in March 2022, I think. So there actually I presented these articles, and I got a very valuable comment, I would say. And then I also incorporated those comments while drafting and writing these articles. And definitely for the pre-submission feedback, I just only ask my partner and my friend to read it. And one, of course, come from the different discipline background, one from almost working around the same caste and then politics of caste and urbanity and so on and so forth. So that was like the larger uh, uh, thing actually about this article. I think I would stop here and like to more discuss in the Q&A session. If that would be, I think, more interesting for me. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Dr. Deep. This has been a great session. I would like to open the platform for question answers if we have any. Participants are requested to either put their questions in the chat or they can raise their hands. Do we have any questions? Anyone?
Yeah, somebody else.
We have Anushka.
Am I audible?
Yes.
Okay. My question is, sir, that when we write a research article, like I am a student of Miranda House University of Delhi, and I am majorly focusing on caste and politics, student politics. So when we work with interviews from sort of candidates or students, my first question is that when we have empirical interviews with people that go up to 20 to 30 minutes, what is your strategy of making the interview finding support the argument of the research? And my second question is that when we cite articles about caste, so it is not just theory, but there are a lot of theories about caste, as in we can read Ambedkar, and even for caste we can read Gaurav Pathania. But how can matlab how what can be the resources to write about caste, not just as theory but as a material reality? So matlab, is there any sources that you can suggest that is not theoretical or definitions of caste, but empirical manifestations of it?
Yeah. And thank you very much for your question. I think for the first question, I think if I understood you correctly, so you wanted to know like how one could make a sense of the testimonies or the interviews, right?
Yes.
Yeah, so I mean, it's a depend. Like, it's like, what would be your objective? Like, what you want to do? Like that, I would first go for what kind of central research question you have, and because at the end the material would be almost the same, remain the same, but then you have to give the perspective, right? What you want to explore in that. So, accordingly, you have to also categorize and thematize your interviews in those lines. That would be my the first response, I think. So it has to be placed in your central research questions and aim and objective of the research, and you have to just pull out right what you want to make, what kind of meaning wanted to make out of those narratives or the testimonies you have with you, right? And what kind of approach you are going to use, for example, to thematize. Like people use different kind of, suppose if you're working on, let's say, for the two people, and you can also use like narrative approach and give perspective. And if you have like plenty of the interviews, you could also think of thematic approach to find some sort of a identify some sort of a the recurrence and the pattern, like so which comes from the both, like for example, from the inductive and deductive both methods. Probably you can also mm, inductively you can also bring some sort of idea from the data, and deductively you of course from the theories, and how you're going to intersect and how you're going to make meaning out of those themes. So it's totally depend actually what you wanted to do, and then you can follow accordingly. For the second question, it's interesting. I think a lot of people, I mean, nowadays not focusing on the theories different, because most of them are working around like like you were saying, the material manifestation of the caste, how it is going to impact. So for example, you mentioned the Pathania's work, and then Bharat works also, because I have read at least I think two or three articles by Bharat, his article, and then they have also like come up with like no the very try to understand the caste from the very empirical lens, and try to argue. And it has also the, I mean, material implication means, like, of course, like the policy and so on and so forth. If you read uh, article by Bharat or Gaurav, or maybe other article, or maybe you could also read my article, you could also find how I am trying to avoid doing the theory, rather focusing more into the empirical reality, and how one could make a meaning out of that. Yeah.
Okay, thank you so much.
I want to add something to the answer that Deep just gave you, Anushka, regarding the second question. You might also want to look into some of the names like Dr. Shaista Patel, Dr. Shikha Devakar, and Shainal Verma's article. And maybe also check out JCAS Journal's articles that have recently come out, because they do focus on empirical research and also methodologies that come from the community itself, especially Dr. Shaista and Dr. Devakar. Look into their work. You're going to find a lot of substantial work there.
And maybe one suggestion would be like she can also look at the contemporary voice of Dalits, and as they also have a lot of the article around the empirical things. So it would be also nice, because I published my first article with the contemporary voice of Dalits. So
Mm-hmm.
you can also see what kind of research and they have published actually.
There's also the Ambedkarian Chronicle that does a really good job of actually bringing out these methodologies and our experiences to the forefront. Their articles are really sound, really academic as well, but not really complex in the way that somebody who does not belong to academia won't understand. So look into their work too.
Mm.
All right. Do we have any more questions? Arushi. Go ahead, Arushi.
Hi. I am from philosophy. I have done my bachelor's in philosophy, and for my master's, like as of now, I have given my examination. But for my master's, I want to write my master's dissertation on caste and philosophy. Like at IIT Delhi, they have a specific cell which is dedicated to philosophy of caste. Like they recently had a 3 days conference. So if any of you could give me suggestion on how I can, you know, write at the intersection of caste in India and how to philosophize it. Thank you.
Yeah, I think immediate answer would be I forget the name. There's one professor from the same faculty you're talking about. I forget the name actually. And I have read his work and around caste and philosophy. So I think maybe I mean could just check it. It's quite interesting work around the caste and philosophy. And definitely the Guru Gopal Guru and the Professor Vivek Kumar also. You can also read their work, right? And more like maybe yeah, these are the scholars, and then you can think of. But I forget exactly. Then I mean, it's quite interesting. I don't know how I forget, but quite interesting work. I have actually cited in my my article. So I don't know. And he's from the same department you are in. So Kumar, I think his name.
Okay, thank you. I'll check out their website and I'll read your article. But yeah, thank you.
Are you saying about Sundar Sarukai?
Yeah, that's yeah. So I know. No, I'm not talking about him actually. I know. I'm talking about something. Yes. Now some Kumar. I just cited like caste in the classroom and ethical integration in. I think it was in the edited volume, teaching in unequal society, something like that. It was published by Bloomsbury. So you can think of this article, and then the paper was quite interesting. PK, I forgot Kumar PK, yeah, in 2020, yeah, it was in 2020. Caste in the classroom and ethical integration.
Okay, thank you.
And of course, somebody has mentioned about Sundar Sarkar, yeah, definitely.
Yeah, hi, Dr. Deep. So I'm Rajesh here. So I have heard about your name, but I think I didn't get a chance to directly interact with you. So I did my master from TIS Mumbai itself. So,
Yeah.
so I'm currently doing my PhD in Jamia Millia Islamia.
Okay.
So actually, I have developed my article and I'm still working on that. So it's a ethnographic research paper. So I'm still worried that when should we stop our writing? And because as we know that it takes too much time to get a comments from the reviewers or from the editor. So I'm just like literally wondering that when shall I think that my paper is ready and I should send them? Or shall I take too much time to build up my paper so that I should not get too much comments and it should not get too late. So could you please give me some advice on that?
Yeah,
Thank you.
thanks, Rajesh. I think I'm aware about you, but maybe we have never talked, but I know you. So that's good. I think it's a good question. And I don't know and what the exact answer for to that, but I think have you already prepared and have you already written your article and you have already submitted somewhere and got comments, or what you are still developing your draft? What is the status? I just wanted to know.
Yeah, so I have not yet submitted for review, so it is still working on because I am bringing up my PhD chapters to submit that, And I'm just like little bit cautious about this process, every process which is involved in research, because maybe like I might be wrong, but I'm too much on the perfection of my research paper. So
Mhm.
how should I like keep myself back in terms of that perfection?
Or how
Because
should
in
you
that
keep away
regard,
from
because
yourself
yeah,
from the
because in that
perfection?
regard, I'm like making late for my submissions.
Yeah, the suggestion would be, I think, yeah. So I think everybody face some kind of this kind of dilemma. Everybody has, but thing is that I think don't like think too much about like no the perfection things of like it's idea, no, it's keep evolving. So just whatever thought you have, if you have some convincing argument and then data around that, I would and some theoretical framework around that, I would say write it. And if you get like, of course you cannot reach the perfection, but then if you think and it is almost ready, and let the reviewer decide actually your perfection, I would say. So let them decide and what kind of comment you receive, and then you can just, because see, uh, uh, you have to also be very realistic, right? At the end you also want some publication, and knowing the fact that it is going to take a lot of time, right? So it takes around 1 year, sometimes more than years, and maybe the rejection after rejection, no. So how this academia and this whole process works. So I would say, if you get like convinced by yourself in the first place, don't go for the perfection. And then I would also give this kind of suggestion. You can also ask to your peer group to read, like from the department, and you can also present somewhere whom you think approach the expert whom you think he or she could be the potential, the review kind of the pre-reviewer kind of thing for you, and give some sort of a comment on that. So you can actually go for that, I would suggest, and then send your article to the reviewer, to the journals. Don't wait for that. And then whatever comment you got it, and then work upon it, and then get it published. And then later on, if you think of you have more idea around the particular theme, and you want to make more, let's say, the concrete, or maybe some different idea you come up with, probably then you can bring those argument in different articles. Because anyway you're working on you're trying to publish thing from your PhD, right? So it has to be in the flow, right? Some of the argument has to be connected and flow in preceding chapters and previous, something like that. So you can bring those some of the argument for the in the next publication or something like that. That would be my suggestion. Yeah. But don't bet too much, I would say.
Yeah, thank you so much for that.
Yeah. But you have also done your master MPhil from IIT Mumbai, right? If I remember
Yeah,
correctly.
I did my MPhil from IIT Bombay.
Yeah, yeah. So I remember.
I did my MPhil on BSP politics, so I was just wondering that whether that is relevant in the current context or not. So I am not like looking that to publish as of now, but in the future context, I am planning that because
Yeah.
that was related to Odisha context. So because like nowadays a lot of has changed related to BSP politics, so that's why like I'm just wondering that how could I bring this into the current context and how should I
Yeah.
argue the things.
I would say if you really wanted to publish, let's say in the monograph or something like that, an article, which I have never done. So the at least monograph, but then there's still always a scope, right? So you can just revisit your data and then frame it accordingly and publish it. So don't bet too much, like, yeah. So because your study is also situated in a particular context and time frame, so everybody understands. It's more about how you are going to make your argument. That's more important for the reviewers and for academia, I think. So you have to also take care of those things.
Yeah, so then another thing that since I am writing my PhD thesis, so I'm just wondering that when we develop a research paper and so like for example in a chapter we mostly don't include the methods part there, and I think some of the literature part, if it is in data analysis chapter. So can I write the chapter on the basis of a research paper without adding the methodology and some of the most of the literature part, and make that as a PhD chapters as well? With this okay or not?
See, but I think it's a depend, like who's your supervisor and how you're going to organize your thesis. So definitely there's a scope. One, you can go for the monograph, like you can just write a manuscript and submit it to the department. One could be like the cumulative PhD, right? So you need to just publish 3 articles and just compile it, and at the end you have to just write the introduction and the conclusion. That is the another way of doing, like most of the students, especially in West, do actually, and IIT also follow, if I'm not wrong. So some of the professors also do. So I think it's a depend. Like I don't know the chapter, but the chapter doesn't include, especially for the PhD, doesn't include the methodology. If you want to publish in the research form, definitely then you have to revise it, right? Rework upon it. So though that comes from the PhD from the PhDs. Research, but then it has to be reshaped, reworked actually. So if you want to send it to for any journal, so where you need to actually use the methodology and write a methodology and rationale and so on and so forth. So it's depend what you are writing actually.
Yeah, thank you so much, Dr. Deep, and congratulations for your postdoc at Oxford also.
Yeah, thank you
Yeah,
very much.
thank.
Yeah,
Yeah, and your presentations also went well, and it's really helpful for me also. So I would also go through that process. Thank you.
Thanks. Yeah, we will in touch. Yes.
Yeah, I would like to add a couple of things actually what Dipi were mentioning. And this is particularly for all the young scholars because yeah, I publish and as you mentioned, I have been in the US for the last 15 years, right? I would like to suggest based on my experience that many young scholars they are only focusing on caste, which is good because that's your lived experience and you want to contribute to the society and through your research and scholarship. But also the other thing is that you need to explore more interdisciplinary approach, that is very, very important. And that is probably one limitation in India because still the approach in terms of research is kind of very specific to particular direction, not interdisciplinary. So I would suggest to all the young scholar to please read more in terms of the interdisciplinary work with the caste or race and gender and so on. That will help you to broaden your perspective, number one. And number two, also about use of different methodological approaches. New, different, I would say sometimes very challenging approaches in methodological approach, not the typical what we do like survey or interview or focus group. Go beyond that. I'm not saying that is wrong, but I'm saying different because the thing is that you just not should focus only on your or PhD or research or paper. You also focus in terms of your future career and output because the market and the landscape is changing dramatically currently, right? So when you have either interdisciplinary work or the different methodological approach, not only you can create a good scholarship, innovative work, but also you will strengthen your profile. Yeah, my focus is about your research about new and different approaches and also strengthen your profile in terms of the research and as a scholar. This is the 2 cents I want to contribute, and I have been experiencing a lot with the young people that they fall into the same trap. So please read more and explore and dare to think beyond the traditional framework of research and how we see and read about the caste.
I think it was good suggestion, yeah, because I still remember when I went to Germany for my PhD, and then my supervisor was asking, I don't know about the caste. So, and then he was saying I should change the topic or I should change my PhD guide. And then I didn't want to leave him because he was so nice. And then idea was also, and like you were saying, I'm always like quite flexible in sense that I'm quite open. I always follow the interdisciplinary approach. I could also I could like adopt the any kind of new thing which is quite interesting for me, which I did. And then I just started reading more about the conflict, actually, the process of the conflict, how the conflict actually happen, and say over a period of time, what are the factors actually involved. So my PhD work was more about the understanding the processes of the conflict, in a given particular context. So you're right. So I think if somebody, especially there's somebody like aspiring and wanted to come here, like in the West, to do some sort of a PhD or postdoc, they should think about like more interdisciplinary and how they could actually relate their work broadly in somewhere, let's say in the social inequality. If you're somebody working around the caste, maybe in the race, if for that matter, how you can bring in, how you can bring some sort of intersectionality, some sort of things. So maybe the mental health, how you could relate those your experience to the broader audience, because here, like, you will be always asked what we are going to learn from your project. That would be the first question. So then you have to have your answer, like, yeah, definitely. Otherwise, why any funding agency and funder would be interested to fund for you, like, until unless, because here is project more about like more like praxeology, more like, they wanted to bring into those research into the policy domain, and they wanted to make benefit out of those research, something like that. So like we had to also think about on those line, actually. So more into.
All right. So we also have a feedback form in the chat that I have posted. It would be really, really great if all of you could just take out 2 minutes of your time and give us the feedback about today's session, or some of the other feedback that you might have, like what sort of seminars or workshops you would want to attend, you would want to see Bahujan scholars organize, and any other suggestions that you might have. I believe that we are done with the question and answers. Is there anyone who's left?
Or maybe wanted to give some sort of suggestion.
Mm-hmm.
That could be also helpful for us.
Even if someone wants to ask in Hindi or other language, feel free to
Yeah,
ask.
exactly. Yeah, so we are
We will
comfortable.
translate. We will try to convert.
Okay. No one. So I think we can wrap up the session today. This session. Thank you so much, Dr. Deep. This has been really, really informative. And I do believe that a lot of us have gotten a clear idea of how to get our papers published in a journal today. So, in case anybody has any sort of questions, or you come up with any sort of suggestion or questions, we have posted our feedback form as well as our email ID in the chat. Please reach out to us and share your opinions with us. Thank you so much, everyone, again for attending this session from all the different time zones that you all are in. We'll see you in a. Oh,
But
there
yes,
is
somebody
Alma.
has question. Yes.
Hi, I'm sorry, this is not related to like this today's topic. It is related to the fellowship, mentoring fellowship, which was opened by Bahujan Scholar, and the deadline was January 31st. So I just wanted to do a follow-up whether it has started, or maybe I can get acceptance or rejection email. That only I wanted to know. Thank you.
Yeah, we will get back to you. Please write to us. We will get back to you. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
So we are done.
Thank you so much. Sorry?
We are done.
Yeah, we're good to go. Thank you so much.